Okay, so we'll start with today with the practice session. So before that, everyone, I think if you're on the same page on this one, so please click here, continue without code. Okay, the first thing you should be doing, continue without code. Click here and close this. Do not do any update or anything. Okay. The first thing we should be doing, we should okay, whoever joined late, just to understand. So for our development point of view, we have discussed. So everything starts with our model. So Dynamics 365 have a model structure. Any object, any data type like our tables, our forms, classes, whatever you create, everything that has to be attached to a model. Before that, we cannot do or change anything in the system. And that model can be created as a new model, which is an extension of a existing model, or it is a new model overlaying or overlapping the existing object. So every time the best practice and the Microsoft always ask you to create an extension model, because here there is no duplicacy of not duplicacy, like no overlaying of object, and whatever Microsoft has created, that is owned by Microsoft and that is not being changed by any of us, and whatever you are creating in your own space, workspace, that is also being owned by you and no one is going to change anything. Okay, so that is why we first thing we should be doing, we should be creating an extension model. Okay, please, I think everyone can see this extension. Click here, Dynamics 365. Okay, click here, and under model management, you can see here, create a model. If everyone is seeing this, please go here and create a model. And here we will start with the base practice and the naming convention, because I want everyone to follow the same thing, because that's create a good practice. Because if we are developing, always there is an case where we are doing everything with our all our like resources aligned, so that all the objects, all the models, whichever we are creating, so that is under the same naming convention. So that helps actually. Okay. Okay, so yes, model name. So we should just write VPP underscore model. Okay, so this is a small model name we have created. Copy this survey. Click on not now. In the model description, paste that, and in the publisher. Okay, just write admin, because you have logged in with the admin user. Okay. So layer, keep it as user layer. We do not bothered about the layer structure anymore. We just want to create our models. Okay. So if you are good with this, just keep the name as PPT underscore model bank. Okay. Now you go to here, click on next, and here you should be selecting create a new package and click next. So you don't need to do anything. This is our for extension models and this is our for overlaid models. We are concerned only with the extension models, which is showing you here. Okay, click on next, and by default application platform is only selected. These are all the models that system creates. Okay, so here I see these few of the selections you need to do, because we will be like whenever we are creating the data structure, everything we will be using some of the system objects also, right, whichever actually helps us to create the table and the data type. So, right, so that is why I select my application suite from adapter, platform for adapter, foundation, and foundation for adapter. These are the few of the main major models where all the development object lies in. Okay, so please select this one. Pretty simple. You have application platform, then you have adapter, suite, application suite from adapter, foundation, and foundation from adapter. This one. Okay. If you are good, click on next, and automatically check these boxes, default and create new project. These are the things. So everyone, are you good with this part till now? Any questions? Any are you any blockers till now?
No.
Okay, great. So you click on this finish. Okay, so it creates a new project where we start our work and make this my default model for all the projects. So I click on finish. Ask for the template and the project name. Okay. Uh, okay. I think the first page actually, okay, before this page, it was about to show you the project type. In that page, just write finance and operations. Finance and operations. It will give you a type and select that type as finance and operations. Okay. So that is why by default my name is coming as finance operation one. So just when you click on that create project next, it shows you that page, and in that page at the search window just write finance. Okay, and in that finance it will give you the option of finance and operations, and select finance and operations. Do not select anything else. Okay, so if you have
Didn't
selected,
ask for anything. Directly we came to this page.
okay, then it's fine. If you have finance and operations selected here, then give it is a name full name. And remember, we are starting everything with VPT, right? So I should say VPT underscore my. Okay, so solution name keep it same, so it is actually reflecting the project name. So underscore bank model project. Okay. Okay, so if you are good, so the project will be created and the solution, and you can go ahead and start creating our objects. So what are we going to do today? So let us think. So we'll be creating few tables, setting up the relations, adding the data types and the sample data and the pre-properties of the table, which we discussed, which are the important thing that whatever we have learned for the past 2-3 days, we'll implement that simple. So we create our enums, we create our EDT, we attach that to our table, we create our relationships, and then we'll see how those data and relationship indexes everything works. Okay, this is the idea. So whatever we have learned, we'll implement that. Okay, okay, I think the writing is not good at all. Okay, so these are the three tables we'll be creating. Okay, so it's like a branch code. Okay, so these are the three tables we'll be creating. So idea is we have a for a small bank, we how we maintain the database. Let's say if you are asked, so always we have our branch code master. Every bank, if you go, they have a that branch has a branch code, and that is a whenever new branches are coming up, they are coming up with the branch code table, right? So that is a master data they maintain, right? And we can have these few fields, like for sample field we have the branch code, location and pin code. Okay. Similarly, our bank account master, where we store actually all our data, where we will be having our bank account number, branch code, definitely which branch code is related to, customer type, customer name, and if we want like add few other fields, we'll discuss and we'll do. So again, these two fields are important. I'll explain why. Because customer type is is an identifier for the customer, what type of customer it is, and bank transaction master data, where we have let me not master is so bank trans data, so where we'll have our definitely account number, transaction date, debit amount, credit amount, and the balance amount. These are the few sample easy to understand fields we have to. I mean, if you go to and see any other bank transaction data, you will have so many fields. But for our understanding of our practice, this is sample small data we can create. Okay. So these are the structure we'll be creating, and then we'll be having the relationship between these two, three tables, and we'll be having our indexes and everything created in these tables. Okay. So this is the idea for today. So first start we'll be creating some enum which we learn first. Then we'll be going to create some EDT, and then we'll go and create these three tables. Okay, and set the relationship. Okay. So first we'll be creating these following enums. Okay, and let's go ahead to the system and start creating that. Okay. So everyone, if you are good, just click the project, right click, fine. Click on add a new item. Okay, expand this item. If you all are in the same place, this is our development, all the items. So let's try to learn whatever we have learned to. We have learned to give our labels and resources. We have seen how the data types are working, where we select our EDT enum, right? Then we select and click our data models where we do our table, queries, everything, correct? Then we have our user interface. If you select the user, you will see this form menu item, what we call it, a display menu item. If you see the data model, you will see this table, queries, collection map, which we discussed, queries, composite queries for data entities, everything, right? Similarly, there is something called view. If you go to your code, you will see your classes where you write your business logic, macros, and jobs, which is for our testing purposes. If you go to your workflows, all these different workflow items are there. As approval, all this, again I said this is a separate engine, but if we go and create a new custom workflow, then we can go ahead and use that one. So that is the for all these objects. So uh, again, if you go and see, all these are the objects that we work on a day-to-day basis, but as you said, most importantly we are learning these two part today, data type and the data model, where we go create our data types and then we create our data models. And similarly, we have our reports also, where we differently all these things template. Again, I think the few of the things they have added new. These are reports for uh, I think for the front end tiles. Yeah, I think style template, all these things. Okay, and security, we discuss security policies, privileges. This is a separate thing we'll discuss, but these are the more or less all the objects we create on it for Dynamics 365 items. Okay, just to give you understanding. So click on data types here and click on base enum first. Okay, give the name vpt underscore cast type. Okay. So everyone, please click create this one. Click a new base enum and it should name as a vpt underscore cast type. Okay, and add.
How should be the naming?
Yeah, yeah.
Should be all caps or all small or anything
Yes.
is fine.
See, just let it be added. It will show you. So it's I think adding into the project. So maybe it's taking some time, but yeah, the naming should be is everything should start with vpt because that is a model and that is a project where you will be, and underscore, yeah, it should be underscore custom. Normally how we write, so first word later it starts with caps and then all small and then it's type and also. Okay. So this is for
Okay.
again the thing is if we open the properties window.
Mitra, do we need to save? Is auto saving automatically whatever we are working, because just in case if it's hanged?
It is auto set, but again, if we after creating, we'll have to compile it. So, like compile means we will have to do the build and it will be reflected. So, yes, as of now, which is whatever you are creating, it is getting saved. If it is not saved, it will show as a star mark here. Okay, it's a star, and you go and if from here you save this, and then you do the to reflect those changes, you do the build. Okay, so if it is not saved, it will show as here as a star. You will see when you do. Okay, the first thing you whatever you select you are creating, you see it is every object first it is attached to this model. It is not attached to the project. Remember, so if this object is first attached to this model, how it is attaching to this model, because this project is actually attached to that model. The idea is because this object can be used in that model as well. I can create one project, then you go and create another project in the same model, so that my object remains attached to my model only. So that is the idea. Okay, so where you can go ahead and create all our objects related to a model. Okay, so this is my like enum created, and a few of the fields we have discussed, right? The label. First thing is label. What is the purpose of this label? So here I just need to give some meaningful label. So here I write customer type. Okay, and the convention, as I said, always the first letter is big, and then you start like how we write in a sentence. Okay, so it's like a customer type. Okay, this is, you can just go ahead. I mean, if you want to give something else, you can go ahead. I'm just for my understanding. And there's another okay here. Yeah, this is something called it's called help text. Okay, so this is called help text. So this help text actually helps us to understand why this is created. Okay, so if we see, names are like for us to understand, right? For the help text, if any other developers is coming and start working, so we should give some help text, so, or some document name understanding, right? So that whoever comes in and he can understand why it was created. So why we have created, so it is for where you can write some field enter. Okay, so customer type related to type of the data. Okay, so this is the one thing we created. This is just for our understanding. Okay, okay, you can write anything else also. I mean I just wrote something from my end, and
What?
these are the things we need to know. So
Why is
this is
string three dots in the help text?
yeah, what?
Yeah, why is string three dots in the help text? Can you please go back to the help text that you typed right now? The help.
Whatever I, yes, yes, yeah.
Click it here. So just giving, when you click on it, please.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah, yeah, you can type the same or you can just write anything. See, creating an object and those things, I asked you to maintain the consistency. So everything should start with BPT, the name and everything. This label and help text, you can give it on your own, so it is not a problem. But main thing is, see, whenever we are searching something under our model, whatever we want to see in the model, we will not see this label or help text, right? We only see the name of the object. So those names should be consistent and meaningful, and it should reflect our model. Okay, that is why I give it a name and asked everyone to follow that one. Okay, see, now if you see this, it is shows as a star. See, this is not saved, that is why. So you can go ahead and click simply save this, it will be saved. And after creating all the objects, we do a build. Okay, so now we are good. So okay, we should go and create the remember what is the basic thing of enum. We should create our elements of that enum, correct? That is the first important thing. What are my elements? My customer type. So let us give some customer type. So new element. So remember the first thing what we do, the first basic enum value we give as label, keep it as label. So that first thing it shows as a blank. Okay, now go ahead and it's saved. You don't need to go and save every time. Okay, go and create a new element. Okay, so remember this is stored, this value in the database is stored as 0. Okay, now this value will be stored as 1, and whenever you are opening this thing in the system, in the table, you will see whenever you create the data, you will see it is as 0 1 2 3 4 like this. Okay, so not 0 1 2 3 4, you will see this sequence only. Okay, okay, so let us give something for customer type retail, and put the same label as retail. Create the other element as what can I be? It can be institution. Fourth one can be my HNI. Okay, Fifth one, I can have my NRI accounts. Okay, now I can give another email for foreign institution also. Okay, fine. I think these are enough to start with. So this is my customer type which we have created for my uh, for this project. Okay, if you are good, I mean, from the data point of view, if you want to add anything else, if you are coming up with any other thing, you can go ahead and do that also. It's not a problem. Just for our small data point of view, small structure, we can go ahead and click this customer type. Okay. Now, the second thing what EDT or Enum will be creating, will be creating a branch code. Okay, so branch code master, we'll go ahead and create that. So click on this project and create a new element, add new item. Similarly, similar process, nothing changes. By default, it will show it as a data type because previously created data type. Select base enum. I give it a name as PTP underscore branch code add. The branch code got created, and I start giving the things which is mandatory, which is my level first. Right, branch code. See, one thing, see this help text level, you if you are running out of time, if you can omit that also. I mean, some of the developers do have seen a lot of examples because maybe this is just for base practice purpose, right? It is not stopping you to go ahead and doing your development and publishing that development to your customer. So because in the front end all these things are not there, correct? So this is just from our development point of view. Whenever you go and run your development objects and everything, then you can go ahead and see these changes, right? So that is why it's just for us and just to maintain the consistency. And whenever we are learning, we should learn the like the best practice along with my development. At the work, whatever you doing, that is up to you, or however you are doing it, but it should be like that. Okay. Okay. So let us give some branch code. So go ahead and create a new element. So I give some branch code like level. Okay, okay, sorry. This should be 21. Level, put something and discrete things. Okay, I think we are good to go. So we have created few of the branch code, so that is fine. And we click on go ahead and save this. Okay, so these are the branch code master few of the data we created. Okay, so are you good, everyone, with our enum creation, and we understood how to create the enum, correct? So are you good with this two enum, branch code and the customer type?
Yeah, we're good.
Please tell me branch code.
Sorry,
Branch code. How to create branch code? I missed that.
how to create the branch code? This enum you are saying?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yes.
okay, okay. Did you create the first one, the customer type?
Yes, I already created.
Okay, similar process. Similar process. Click on the project, right click, add new item. Add new item, data type, base enum. If you have created the first one, by default it will point you to data type and base enum. You don't need to do anything. Here you give the name
మోక్ష
and
బ్రష్ చేసుకోరాదు నాన్న ఇట్రా
go ahead and keep. What is the question? Hello.
కమెంట్ గివ్ ఏ హగ్గి
Anyway, so yeah, if you are creating the class type, similarly you go ahead and create the branch codes. Data type, base enum,
లేదురా అవసరం లేదు
click on add. Okay, so not a problem. Similar way, if you have created the custom exactly same way, nothing changes. Go ahead and add this element, create the element and give some label and name. That's it.
Yeah, okay. Yes.
Okay, yeah, good. If you are good with that, then we'll go ahead and create the our enums. So what is, these are the enums we have created. We are good with this. Then I go ahead and create my EDT. What will my EDT? So few EDT. See, if you see the tables, we have 3, 4, 7, 5, 8, 12, 13 different. We will not create all these. Why? Because we some EDT will create and some EDT will use the system EDT, so that we will see how to like minimize the number of EDTs also. But for our own purpose, we can create some EDT and enum also. Okay, so that is the understanding. So that is we, for our testing purpose, we have just created few of the EDTs and we'll see how to use those EDT. And you can use the system EDT also. Okay, so this is the idea. Okay, so these are my EDTs which I have created. So we'll be creating EDT date, balance, and account number. So let us go ahead and start creating that. Okay, if you're good with that, again go ahead, click on the project, right click, add new item, and data type we have a first date because we have a date, right? Click on this on EDT date, and similarly just write weekly and add this. Okay. So this is I created my EDT. Okay, so here I have the option C, which is a type for how it is being extended, right? Here I can go ahead and select all this property, date, month. Here everything is showing as a like a what can I say, auto field. If you go ahead and select that, it will be automatically, it will be give you a date field. Here you can go ahead and select that. The first thing is my label, which is our primary thing, which is translate. Yeah, so this is the first thing which I should keep is my label, and similarly my help text. These are the two for our best practices. Go ahead and look at. Now, here we have all these things, data, all these things we have. We can go ahead and select or we don't select. But key thing is, if I go ahead and use only this EDT, it can give my it can give me results where I can go ahead and select it. But if you want to like select something where it extend say base EDD, you can go ahead and do that also, because by default system provides us some like a transaction data EDD. So I can go ahead and extend that. Okay. Extend here, this in the search window. Go ahead and select this one, extends, and in the search window write trans. You will see the trans date. Don't select this transfer date, select this trans date. Okay. So it is extending this transit. See, whatever properties of this transit, it will be automatically coming up. And if you go ahead and select any other properties here, so your formats, months, separators, if you change something, so by default that will be applied. So the concept is, if I extending something, these properties will be inherited into my EDT. But if I go ahead and now do some changes here in this any of these fields, and that will be applied also, both the cases. So here these separators I keep it as by auto. By default this comes as this slash type, right? So which is the basic default type, so no need to change anything. So I go ahead and save this. Okay. Now the second one, which is my account number. Okay, so account number, I click on here, add new item, data type. So what is my account number? Account number, so it is an string field. It is string field, right? So account number can start with maybe number, and it can have digits, and or it can have characters also, right? Because like previously few years back also, some banks used to have like just like text character in the account number, so that we should be using a string characters. What will be where it will be used as an account number. So select the string
What
number.
is the difference between enum and string? Can we select enum instead of?
No. Enum, no. Enum and string we cannot select. Enum is for our fixed values. Whenever we are creating the enum, so if you see this enums created, it has fixed values, correct? BPT customer type, it has 6 to 7 type, and branch code also have 6, 7 different branch code. So whenever we are selecting the data, that data will be selected only from these values only. No other values will be allowed. But for account number, we cannot set anything like that. Those account numbers will go from 1 to maybe millions of accounts. So we cannot identify or fix those values. So that is why whenever we are dealing with fixed values, fixed set of values, we are dealing with enums, and any other thing we'll be creating an EDT for that. Similarly for date, why do we create date? Because date we cannot fix anything. Whenever there is a transaction date, that will be there in the system. Okay, so that is why enums are for fixed values, and all other data types we use the EDT. Okay, so I go ahead and select my string and I create. So BPT bank account number I give, and I create a. Now if you go to these properties, few things we need to understand here. I can go ahead and again extend something from the system, but for us we'll be creating this enum from our own, and we'll only be using this enum only. So the first thing is the label, so please put that label. Okay. Okay. So here, if you create this, by default string size comes as 10. So we have seen so many banks have account numbers more than 10 characters. So we need to identify the string size. Okay. So what do I mean by that? We need to change that. So let me give it as maybe how many? Maybe 40 characters. Okay. just to be on the safe side. I keep the string size at 40 characters and it will allow till 40 characters. Okay, so here important part is we are not extending it from something. So whenever we will be creating the data will be stored based on the properties of the bank account number, and in our model whenever we go and create something, in that model only this data will be stored into based on the UDT properties of bank account number if you are using the same UDT. Okay, so this is the first thing we have created. Please save this. Okay, now so we are good with the enums, we are good with the UDT details and UDT string we have created. Okay. The next item is my balance, which I will create. Go ahead and create. So balance is something as a amount field, right? Or so right click, add new item. Now you'll see there is something called you will see in a EDT container integer. Balance is not an integer, it is what it is. A balance is a TL field. Okay, real one.
Which one we have to select, Mitra?
EDT real. EDT real. Yeah, right click, add new item. That one EDT real. This time we'll give it the name and click on add. Okay, so again a few of the basic things we should be completing first. Where am I? Okay, okay. So any amount field whenever is creating, the best practice is the EDT is if you are creating anything, we should actually extend something from my system. Okay, so that is the base idea. We should not use anything, but I mean we can go ahead and create a C, but then again we should be assigning something. See here the number of decimals if we are creating, let us create from our own also. So let us not put this as auto, let us decimals as 2. Okay, here decimals separate auto, negative display, negative mark it as yes, I keep it auto, length auto, format auto, alignment auto, fine. Yeah, so display, please change this number of decimals to, so we'll not extend anything, we'll create on our own, not a problem. So all these things are here, it's by default, keep it blank, and we are good to go. Okay, so this extend, we are keep it as blank, we'll create this edit on our own. Okay.
What we had to change, we change just only the number of decimals to 2, and the second change, what we had?
Nothing. The first change is only the decimal properties is to 2, and this help text and label anything.
Oh.
Okay. Okay. So yeah. Okay. Okay. So save this one. So we are good with our field data types. We have created few of the enums and few of the EDTs. Okay. Now again we'll go ahead and create my the data structure, which is my tables. Okay. So we good with that. Before that we can go ahead, right click the model and do a build. Right click and do a build just to reflect the changes. So it's like a compiling. So build started. Okay, I think it will be over by 2-3 minutes because we do not have much objects. It's like a compilation. If you see, this process compilation.
This build process will also affect the database in the SQL Server.
What? What is the question?
Also create these entities into the database, right? SQL Server database.
Yeah. No, I mean that entity. Excuse me. Entities are already created. So if you see these steps, if it starts this, see it's first the compilation, it writes everything, and then it goes and do a DB sync, right? What is that step?
Where should we do the build?
Yes, build. Go
No,
ahead and
is it full build or?
no, it's a project build. It's not a full build. I think there are some step for database synchronization, all these things it does. So yes, whatever new objects you are creating, it is syncing with the database. It is all these things. Okay, so we have our all these things checked, recycling check started, all these things are completed, and our build is also completed. Okay, so it is good to go. We are good to go now, and we'll go ahead and select my go ahead and create my tables. So first table is my branch code. Okay, so we create a small nodes of branch code. Add similarly new item, and we will go to data model and we'll select the table. Branch code. Okay, so please everyone, here you need to select data model and select my tables, and you need to select one branch code. Okay. I think the name is already extra because we have selected that one. Not a problem. So that's a good learning. So I should have told you. So the same two name objects is not allowed. So what will be doing? Just keep the name as branch code. Alright.
Sorry, Maitra, I'm getting in two compilation build errors.
What is the error?
I'll just copy paste. One minute.
Is this an error or some best practice check? What is that? This is an error. It is showing us an error.
Error. Yeah, it's showing as an error.
Okay.
It says the build task returned false but did not log an error.
Okay. This is something new. Okay. And the other one?
Same, both are same.
Okay, why do you go ahead and do that? Okay, do one thing, do a so click on this project. Okay, click on this project and click on rebuild. Okay, click on rebuild.
Okay.
Okay, click your project and do a rebuild.
Okay.
For everyone else, I believe we are good with the build, right? So if you have faced any issue, just hit that. If you are not, the table will be created. So we create this one branch root table and we'll start adding the fields. Okay.
So, Menta, under the same project only, under the same project, we can't have two objects with same name, right? But
It's not under the same project, under the same
under same model.
model. Yes.
Okay. So within same model, you can't use two objects with same name, right? Hello.
Yeah, I can hear you. Yeah, we cannot have two objects with the same name. Yes. It gives us a compilation error.
Under the same model or under the same project? Because
No.
because
No.
model could be shared by.
Yes, model could be so the model is shared for everyone, but it's under the same object tree actually. So it's under the same uh, all our objects. Here you can have the application itself can see all the objects for all the models. So it is applicable to all the models actually. So it gives a compilation. So you cannot use the same name for any two object. Okay. So it is not related to model or object. It is related to all our application tree. You cannot have the same name for anything for base name, EDT, table, form, whatever you create. You do not go ahead and select.
So how two developers will work in parallel in such situation? Because let's say
No, no.
in a dev,
First
yeah,
thing
in a
you are creating see one table. If I am creating a table, I am responsible for creating the fields in that table, so I'll give it into the same name and I'll use the same edt enum. Now if you are using the same object, so see two tables can be for same purpose, but it's not necessarily we have to give the same name. First thing, right? So bank master table will be only one table in the system. It will not that there will be 5 different bank masters, correct? Similarly for our customers also, it will have only one master table. So in that master table I give like customer master name or sales table or sales name, like that, correct? So that is why any two objects we cannot give the same name.
yes, yes, it is correct that any two object can't have the same name. But I'm saying that let's say in the same model, let's say this bank model project only, and this model is shared across 5 developers. Now all of them are working separately on their own machine. So how we can communicate to them that don't use this name?
Yeah. Okay. In that case, once so first you are doing your work, you go ahead and do your build, okay, and your object reflects into the system. Now, whenever if again you are creating and you are again use the same name, then it creates a problem and it will show you that error that this object name already exists. Okay, so this is the thing. So once how whenever you are doing the changes, then you cannot use the same name anymore. And again, this I would say will not occur into different like persons or developers working to the same model, because everyone has specific like data structure to use or data structure to create. So if 2 or 3 of us are creating a data type or creating tables, so maybe the other persons will work on that table, will not go ahead and create that. But as I said, so whenever you are doing the changes or doing the build, so then only you will see those errors into the system. Okay. So we'll go ahead and we'll quickly create a field first. So everyone please go ahead and create a field, new one.
Any properties that we need to change once we create the
Uh,
table?
no, not now. We'll tell you. Not now. We'll tell you now. So I think label help text we should be giving that we can give. There are two way of doing it. So I can go ahead and create a string, or what we can do is a simple way. I think that is there. So we have created something called as branch code, right? PPT branch code. I go ahead and add it here as a field. Drag and drop it creates that field. Okay. So it's a branch code, we create that field. So if you just simply go and drag and drop, because this is under the same thing, yeah, the same base practice again. Its name, if you're just let me maximize this name of the field is vpt branch code, the name of the table is also vpt. So we should not give something like that. It's like a duplicacy and it's a like a redundancy. If anything starts with your VPT or your model which reflects your changes or which reflects your customer name or something in the fields, you should not give the name like this VPT. So I should change my name to my branch code, simple. Okay. So this is the first thing you should be doing. And if you see, by default enum type shows as a branch code. So this is by default it is created because I have simply drag and drop this, and all the properties of PPT branch code, all the fields is automatically it has come to here. Okay, this is the first thing. Here we can again go ahead and do the labeling also, definitely. Okay. This is first thing we should be doing. Second field, what is the second field was a location field. Location, we should be putting a string field. Okay. Name, change the name to location. Here we can select some extended data type, or if you do not select a data type also, here we can put some label, we can put some string size, and that will help our purpose. So first we should be putting the label location, and we should be put a string size of 30, 40, or we can just try to find out some data type. Let's say we have anything for address. Address. I think we do not have anything specific for like mentioning a location or something, so we will not extend something. We'll just simply create the table and we'll set the string size at 60. So put a location, or maybe not 60 is not 30 is fine. Okay, so this is my table created for the branch.
We have address options, right?
Sorry.
We have address options to the EDT.
See, those EDTs, like what is the properties, we do not know. We do not can go ahead and search everything and then we identify and put that. But just for like for doing our testing, I didn't select anything. I just simply go ahead and created a field and use the property on our own. So I can select string size. I think okay, here if you go, okay, let me show you that. If you do not want to see that, there is a base EDT of string 30, I think, so that we can also use. Yes, here we have something called string 30. Okay, that we can also use. If you can string 30, so by default the parameters and everything changes. See, the string size 30 and it doesn't allow me to change. See, here it doesn't allow me to change. So by default it changes to 30. So that we can also use. Okay, so that is fine. So branch code table is fine. Now we go ahead and create another table. So which is my main table, which is my bank account table. So everyone please select and create this table, bank account table. Okay. Okay. So if you remember, we have created few of the fields. We'll simply go ahead and use those, right? Simply drag and drop. So that will help our purpose. Simply go ahead, drag this here, creates one. Then we have to create the date. Go ahead and date here. Do not need. I thought of that. We do not need to put the date here. What we need to do, we have to put the strings, whatever you have created, which is my bank account number. I go ahead and add this here also. And real amount, we do not need anything. It's fine. Okay. And yeah, definitely the branch code. Okay. These three we have created. So now change the names. Remember, it should not start with BPT. So I should give it as a customer type. Name is fine. Similarly for bank account number, please change the name. EDT will be by default whatever we have created, and the branch code. Branch code. Okay. So this is selected. But if we are good with this, I think we all know only these three fields will not do. We have to go ahead and create some other fields. What is the other field? Which is my customer name. I can go ahead and simply create a customer name field. And here we will be using string field, and we have a field where you can extend. So put the name as customer name or cust name. Cust name. Okay. Put the label, please. And yeah, one more thing, in the table, if you are not giving the labels here, okay, bank account name, all these labels, if you are not giving, so by default, if you are extending from some EDT, that label of EDT will be appearing. Okay, so that is a good part of that extending. So the properties will be inherited, right? So if you have inherited the bank account EDT, and if you have given a proper label helper, that will be followed here. Okay. Okay, so name will be extending something which is our name field. If we just go here, type something called name. Okay. Here is the name. Please select the name. And if you go ahead and see that, so by default string size text and 60 and all the properties will load from here. And if you override something, let's say in the name, the label was set as name, so the label would be showed as label, but we have override the label as customer name, so it will show as a customer name in the label field. Okay, so this is the idea. Okay, so we are good with this table. Now remember, if I have told you we have to create few field groups, okay, for a table, the best practice, if you remember correctly. So by default, all this system automatically creates. So I go ahead and create something for my customer. So let's say in the table I create few of these fields, and I come and add few of the fields later to my customer details, right? So that someone who is using it into the form, that will be useful for us. So I go ahead and create a field group, new group. So this is, let's put the name as just group, and okay, customer. Okay, I think we are good with this understanding what is the field group, because as explained already, right? And here I can add my fields. Okay. So here I just go and add this customer group, and I go and add my customer name. Okay, so these two fields I have added into my field group. If I go ahead and add into the forms anything, it will be showed as a field. Save this. Okay. So this is the first thing we have done as a best practice. Next is my indexes. If you remember, I have to create a primary index for this master table, right? So go ahead and create a new index. Okay, so allow duplicate, no enum index type, index, everything selected here. No, not a column, so it should be an index. Enable yes, everything, right? Now you go ahead and right click and then new field, correct? Because my index should be based on a field, correct? So data field, I select which is the field which is there. So my bank account number is the primary field which is there, right? And I put the change the name of the index actually. Mm, give it a meaningful name, and it should have kind of my bank account number. Okay, fine. Are you good with this, everyone? because this we have created, so please respond, because this indexes, creating the index is a very basic thing and we should be very well aware of this, why we are creating these indexes. Correct. So this is my primary index, which is my bank account number. Now I go to my table, which is my bank account table, and here we have to select a few things. So first thing we have to take a label, bank account table. Okay, this is first thing. Now I select my primary index. Here I will find this account. What is surrogate I'll explain later, but just complete this exercise. So primary index should be my account index. Table should be visible, and there's everything by default if you create is as a regular table. Okay. See, table type regular should be as a regular table. Okay. Any questions, everyone? Are you good with this part? Because this primary index we should be marking it as an account number. Any questions here?
In my case, it's not displaying, it's showing just surrogate key, even though it's not showing this.
No. You have to create the index first. See, first create the index, then it will show as account index.
So I create it, it's there, and then under the index hierarchy, it's showing the indexes, account index, and then bank account number.
Bank
But
account number. Okay, then save this. Under go and save this. Save this.
okay,
Save. And you go to this, click on the table, select the parent table and come to properties, and then here you will be able to see this primary index. If you click on here, it will show this account index.
okay, so that is it's still not showing, but it's showing this one foreign surrogate key. I don't know what is the reason.
Okay, it is not okay. Have you created this one correctly? Then okay, to go ahead and do one thing, go ahead and do a build of the project. Right click, build the project, and then you will see the changes.
You just build the project with the build, you just only build, right?
uh,
Build
Click,
for it.
right click, select the project, select the project.
Mhm.
Here this is my project, right click,
Yeah.
do a build, and then select that. Okay, if you have something maybe error or something, then it also might not show, but ideally it shows. I mean, see, I haven't done the build yet, right? So generally it doesn't have any issues, like it creates, helps us to do that. Okay. So okay, for everyone else, if you are good with this part, I think we have created few tables and we have understood what is the major things we have created as of now. Right, so now we'll create a transaction table, which is my bank account transaction table. Okay, so yeah, okay, please let me know if you can see that index so that we can go ahead.
No, it's still not visible. I don't know what's the reason. It's not visible.
Yeah, okay, for everyone else, is it visible, or are you anyone facing any issues as of now? Indexes are visible, or the build
But
it's fine with everyone?
Need to change anything in the index setup, for example, account index properties, or there's some properties to be configured in the account index property?
No. Here nothing is here. Index type should be nil. By default, it comes. Just put the name as index, and right click and add a new field.
Yeah,
Right
I
click.
bank account field, bank account number is there. That field is added already.
Yeah, bank account number. Data field should be a bank, or you can just drag and drop that field also. That also works.
Yeah.
Okay, nothing else I have done. So it's just an index I have created, and I mark this as a primary index in my table. Okay, let us do one thing. So without index also we can create the table, till not a problem, but we can just go ahead and create the next table, and we'll just create some relations, and then we'll see the data and everything looks. Okay, so one thing we have to do now, we have to go ahead and create a new table, which is my transaction table. Please go ahead, right click and add a new item. Similarly, what will be I adding? I will be adding my bank transaction data. Okay, Okay, so I put my bank trans data. So please create this one, everyone, which is my bank transaction data table, and we'll set some relations and properties. Okay, so this is my bank transaction data. So first thing what we should be doing, we should be giving it a proper label field, which is my bank transactions. Okay, if you are good with that, we'll be creating the fields. So fields is fine. Simply we should go ahead and create a date first, balance, bank account. Okay, these three fields you have created. Okay, I think that's, we know the next part. We need to change the names. Please do that, which is my translate. Okay, it automatically extend this one. You do not need to do anything else. My balance, change the name to my only balance is fine. And the next one is my account number, which is my bank account number, and which is extending bank account. Okay, if you are good with these three fields, I think we have to create another two fields, which is my amount field, which is my real field. Please go ahead, new and real. Click on new one, which is real field, and I can go ahead and put the name as uh, credit amount. I put the name as credit amount, and here I can go ahead and select my data type. Okay, please select amount card. Uh, okay, here we have something called amount card debit credit. We use this one. So this is an EDT which we can use for our debit amount. Similarly, whichever we are going to create a field for debit amount, we just don't need to go ahead and do again create new. We can just simply go ahead and duplicate. Okay, don't need to create a new one. Just simply go ahead, right click on this field and duplicate. It creates a new one. If you are following me, what did I do just now? I just created this field and right click and created a duplicate one, and it creates this one. I just simply go ahead and need to change the name, which is my debit amount. Okay, so we are good with this part, and now we just see whatever the tables, we are fine with my tables. Okay, so no need to do any other database changes. Okay, okay, are we fine with these tables? Any issues as of now? Anything? Yeah. See, one thing, this table, this bank account table, here I could define a primary index because I know my account number is unique based on that, and whenever I go and fetch a record based on my account number, it returns only one field, only one record. But here bank transaction data, I cannot define that index actually. Why? Because this transaction amount, bank account number, it doesn't give return me any unique field, or it can. Yeah, any questions, anyone? Okay, if you are not having question, please mute yourself. Okay, okay, so we cannot identify something for these fields or uniquely identify to define an index, because account number, transaction date, amount, we cannot define something like one account can have multiple transaction for the same date. Okay, so similarly one transaction excuse me, one account number we can have multiple different transactions for the same amount for different days, so we cannot identify anything on this. That is why whenever we go and select these indexes, if you see by default, see it shows selects as a surrogate key. So what is surrogate key? So if we do not have something as an index, is this surrogate key is selected as a rec id, which is my by default. Whenever you open that field, you will see that rec id field. So by default it shows created as a record id, or which is called rec id, record id. So that is selected as a primary index because that is a unique identifier for each of the records in the table. Okay, but if we can define any index, that is easy for us to do the database optimization when we are doing the database search. Okay,
But
so
in
this
this
is
case, can we do bank account number as in primary key?
no, not how can we do that bank account number, because
Account number
primary,
will be unique, right?
no, this is transaction data table, this is I am referring to. So bank transaction, so bank against one account there can be multiple transaction, right? If we go and create a primary index out of bank account, it will not fetch me any unique record, correct?
Okay.
Excuse me. So if I go ahead and create an account number as my primary index, it's not going to fetch any unique record because that is only for my primary key, right?
Okay.
Whenever I'm getting some unique record in this table, bank account table, here I can create an index, bank account number, and that can be used as a primary key, primary index in the bank account table, because here I have my this one is a master table for each of the bank account, because bank account will have is a unique field as a bank account number, correct? So that is why I do not need to cannot create a primary index in this table, but I can do that here, right? So that is why I created this index right now. Okay, so if we are good with this table structure, everything, so please everyone go ahead and do a build of this project so that the changes are reflected. So I go ahead, right click, and I do a build.
Maitra, can we select more than one primary key in a particular table?
No. So primary index is one. Okay, you can create many indexes. Okay, you can create like 1,000 different indexes. So if you go to any basic system table, which are large tables, you will see so many different indexes. But primary index will be only be one index. So if we are good with this structure, we'll go ahead and simply create some branch code, and we'll create some we have the branch code, and we'll go ahead and create the bank account bank account table, and create the bank account transaction.
I'm getting 2 errors.
Okay, let me just check.
I'm getting an error that bank
What is
account
that?
bank account num or its base type for table BPT bank transaction data field. Bank account num does
Wait,
not.
wait, wait, wait. See what? Bank account what?
So basically means that I think the bank account number is being extended from bank account num. Oh, yeah, I think there's something wrong in settings which I did here. By extent,
Uh,
I think it's
okay. Have you created the EDT? Have you created the EDT correctly and then you have added? So, see, if you have done the EDT correctly, so it's not some like you should not be aware because you just simply drag and drop. Simply drag and drop. Okay, for me, build was completed. Okay. Is everyone facing any issues? Excuse me. If everyone facing any issues here of this field or indexes, because I told you like how we are doing this. I create my data type and then I add, and this field I think you remember customer type, bank account number. I simply dragged and dropped. Nothing, no property changes, nothing we have done. So okay, let me just check the errors first. 1 second. Okay, here it is underlying time bank account num.
already resolved basically. But I think so. There was some issue in the drag
Okay,
and
okay,
drop. Yeah,
okay. I think this happened because this bank account num field, the type was not available. So I think in the extended data type, if you have selected bank account num, it will throw you that error. So please
yeah,
select, yes, please select that extended data type as the one which we have created. Do not select anything else. So that is why it was showing you because you do not know which model it is lying in. So that is why it is excuse me, it is giving you that error.
yeah.
Okay, for a show. Okay, inner exceptions track here. Okay, this you okay, you need to check that like why you are getting that. But see the stack. If I go and check it will take some time. How we're doing that.
Meta, in my case, although the build was completed, but along with it, 2 errors are coming, which is saying that uh, system cannot stop the Dynamics AX-based service on the computer.
Can you take this service? Why is that? Okay. You have opened the Visual Studio as one as admin, right?
Yeah, I'm admin only.
You have opened Visual Studio because of for build and everything. It should be run as admin. Otherwise, it will not be like proper.
Yes,
That one.
everything is only.
Okay. Okay. Anyway, copy paste your error once. Copy paste your error.
Okay, let just give me a minute.
I hope everyone has followed the steps which I have done, right? And I have explained every step, and it was not that critical something, right? Because we just created a few of the basic EDT, basic Enum, and we use that into the fields, nothing else. And please remember whenever you are excuse me, creating something, always run the Visual Studio as admin because otherwise the build and everything will not happen correctly. Okay. Let me share my screen. We'll quickly share create few data and close the session. Okay, we'll have another practice session planned Monday, so we can go ahead and do that. But let me okay. Again, just to show you how to view of the creation of data, right click this table. Okay, let me see the error once.
So Mahendra, me and Ashok did the message, and both of us are getting same error only. You can review whenever you get. Okay.
You, uh, can you come again, please? What?
I'm saying we have pasted the error on the chat. You can review when you.
Yeah, I saw that.
Looks like Gaurav, we are also getting stack trace error.
Right, right. Same. Me and Ashok both are getting only.
Stack trace will come whenever you have something, right? So the stack trace will come like this only. So if there is an error in the system, it will show you as a stack trace only because it comes as a error block and Microsoft reads stack. Anywhere in the application, if you go somewhere, it will give you a stack trace error only. That is, I mean, this is not, and this is see this error, like whatever you have pasted for. So see code description, and now if you go into the deep into the error, the service, it shows service cannot accept control messages in the time. So I think there is some issue with us, like the services or IS services into your system. So that is why it is showing up. See this build, whenever it is doing the build, it is actually deploying the changes and that is reflected into the client. So we need to have the IIS service be correctly like working. So maybe that is why the IIS service was not being correctly like working. So okay, let me just check if you can change that.
Sir, what about the relationship?
Table relationship. Okay, yeah. We can go ahead and create few relations. We'll show you that one second. Okay. Everyone, you can just do this one thing. We'll restart the IIS one second. Let me share my screen once. Okay. Are you able to see this? Here, just go to here, Windows search. In the search window, just write IIS. It opens up this IIS manager. Okay. So if you have opened up this one, it shows like this. Expand this IIS. Okay. Okay. This is your like IIS server. So in the local host it is there. So do a restart of this one. Okay. It takes 1 minute or like 2 seconds rather, and it restarts. You will restart. And under application tool, I think yeah, everything is fine. Started. Yes, also. Yeah, here actually you can see your this browser style also. This one also you can go ahead and do a restart. Under US service, it gives you restart also, that you can do also. Starts US. It's like starts automatically, restarts, and this is your the URL which we use for our opening the application. If you have done this, go ahead and go to your application and go ahead and do a right click and build. Okay, that you can do. Yeah, in the meantime, we can just simply see the tables relations.
Hi Maitra, do we need to do the restart for our application pools or only for
Yeah,
the browsers
here you
sites?
just, yeah, here first this is my IIS. Here you do a restart. Now you go to site, AOS service. Under AOS service, you go ahead and do a restart.
Okay.
So don't stop and start. Just do a restart. It it restarts in a click of a second. Okay, just do that, and then you go to and the reveal and create the uh, but do a rebuild. Go to the project and do a rebuild. Okay. Okay. So if you are good with this, let me create a few things regarding the relations. So tables. So let us open this table. And let us open this bank account table. So these two tables have a definite relation. How we are defining the relation based on my branch code, correct? So this is one is a simple relation. I go ahead, click in new relation, new relation, simple relation, not a foreign key. We do not need to have the foreign key. And here we just put the name as okay. Best practice of having a relation from one table. So if you are creating a relation from bank account table, and if you are creating a relation from one another table, okay, so you give the name of that table. So that is the best practice. So I give the name of that table of that relation, upt underscore branch code. So that is the best practice. Okay, now the first thing is the relationship type, so which is my related table here, right? So my related table is, you select in the, okay, you select in the drop down, and or rather you can just simply type ppt underscore branch table, it will come. Okay. Relationship type. So it's not specified is fine. If you do not, association composition will tell, like will show you what, like, explain. But if you do not specify anything, it is always by default takes as a normal relation association type table. Okay, this is fine. Next important thing is my relation, like how we are defining the relation, right? Here right click and click new and click a normal relation. Okay, click a normal relation, and it gives you the field, what field you are using. Okay, so here I select my field name. Okay, this is name of that, what is my field. So I have this field in my uh, main table, which is my bank account table. So the relationship should be based on my branch code here and the branch code that table. So whatever data I am creating in here, it should flow here, right? So this is my branch code. Related field, it should be also my branch code. By default, it shows as a branch code in this field. So the relationship got created as a bank account table dot branch code. This relationship relates to this branch code table. Okay, so this is one of the relations we have created. Now go ahead and do a build on this one. Okay, for Ashok and Gaurav, have you done a rebuild? Is it fine?
Still
It is
getting
getting.
errors.
There is no problem in building the model and but at the background it's showing those two errors.
Okay, yeah. Are you getting that messages build completed?
Has build completed to me.
Okay, build completed for you, but still okay. Then it's fine. I mean, you can work. In the background, what you mean by background? Here it's like in the
Your voice is not good at all.
background actually. So here, okay, here if you see
There is one is
here,
the output, another one is the error list. Chandra, one is the output window. There it is showing as build completed, but one is
okay,
the error window. There it is showing me 2 errors and 54 warnings.
okay. Okay. Let us do one thing. Let us try to create some data, and we'll see that if we are good or not. And just follow the steps which after the build we follow these steps. Create some small data. Okay. What is the time? Oh.
I'm trying to create a relation.
Mm-hmm.
Branch- So branch code table, again in that I have to create another relation.
Yes, yes. And the relations, right click on the relations, and it gives you a relation window. First thing, this one. Best practice is whichever table if you are referring to, you give the relation name to that table. So it helps us to understand by just looking into the relations. What is the table that we are relating to from this table? So the name here I have only changed the name to this one. PPT branch
So I
code.
have to use the foreign relation, not normal
No,
relation.
no. Regular, normal.
Regular, it is taking as bank account table only.
Okay. So if you go ahead, right click relations, new relation. Here you change the name of the relation.
Okay.
Change the name. But by default, it will not select any table here. It selects the table later. Okay. So it just selects the table later. So in the relation, just change the name here, and then in the related table, you change the name as VPT branch code table. Okay. In the related table, you just write the name or select the name, anything, just write VPT branch code, VPT underscore branch code table. If you just writing complete correctly, or if you are selecting from the drop down, do that. So these two things we need to change here: related table and the name. Now, once you have done that, then you go ahead, right click here and create a normal one. Then once you have selected this normal table, if you have selected here, it will show VPT bank account table dot blank, and then it will show VPT branch code table dot blank. So that means it is asking us to add the fields based on which field we are relating these two tables. Okay, 1 and 2. Okay, so this is the what we have to do. This is the, I think if we are clear with that, I'm just deleting this because I don't need to have this relation. Save this.
Hi. How to export this project for further reference?
Means we are out of time. Right? It's nearly 15 minutes.
Here right click, here export project, select a location and store. I mean it will be saved in your desktop. Then select that and then you can copy that into your local machine. Simple export. Don't need to select anything else and export into a database.
Mitra, you have manually created these folders under the solution tree. For example, base nums, EDT dates, EDT reels, because for me it is just directly showing without any folder hierarchy.
So what hierarchy?
No, under the model. So for example, under the model, you have like a folders like base enums, there are folders. So under the
Right,
yeah,
right.
it is not folder, it's just directly under the model name.
Correct. It will show under this line.
Yeah.
If you want to, just let the build complete. I'll show you one thing. Okay, I had a hard stop because I also have to join another meeting in next 5 minutes. So we'll quickly create something.
It's not getting from that. It's not allowing to paste.
No, I think that you can just simply open your email inside the virtual machine and
Like
create
it
the
allowed us to export right now. I think it is and it allows us to export or not. If it doesn't allow us, what we'll do tomorrow is that from Monday we'll download a VHD and then we'll start work. But yeah, that can take some time, but it will help us to have the objects. But try to export and see if that is being saved. You can save that or not. If that is not the case, then we will start.
Export is happening, but it is happening onto the same system only. From there, I'm not able to copy.
You are not able to copy.
Right. The XMP file is already there in the document folder, but now when I'm trying to copy that file and paste in my own system, it's not allowing.
I mean, you cannot paste your local machine, right? Okay. I think maybe it has. Okay, one thing I just wanted to show you, just then I'll do the export part. So if you go to Application Explorer, right click here AOT and select this one model view. And then you can go ahead and select your model VP. So here, once you go to the model, you can actually see what are the objects created here. Under data types, you have base enum, you have select these two. Under storage, we have this two. Okay, it is referring to this model. So there also you will actually able to see whatever thing you have actually gone ahead and created. This is a simple way of doing this or seeing if there is a duplicacy, if the data is created correctly or everything is there or not. Okay. So this is a simple way of creating and like going into this model and see what are the objects I created. So it's very useful and just do that. And if you want to see all the objects from all the models, simply right click and go to the classic view. We have these two, classic and model. Classic. Yeah. Okay, so if you are good with this, so what I'm saying, so exporting. Okay, so you are saying if you are going ahead and exporting, it is not.